Hey everyone, it's Movie Lover 120 here, and I'm here with a brand new movie review, and this time is going to be for a comedy movie review. And this comedy I'm going to be reviewing is for 2009's The Hangover. And this film is about... And this is a film that was released in June 2009 and was directed by Todd Phillips, director of Old School, and is about Angelino's Doug Billings and Tracy Garner are about to get married. 2 days before the wedding, the four men in the wedding party, Doug's two best buddies, Phil Winnick and Stu Bryce, and Tracy's brother, Alan Garner, hop into Tracy's father's beloved Mercedes convertible for a 24-hour steak party to Las Vegas. Phil, a married high school teacher, has the same maturity level as his students when he's with his pals. Stu, a dentist, is worried about everything, especially what his controlling girlfriend, Melissa, thinks. Because she disapproves of traditional male bonding rituals, Stu has to lie to her about the steak. He's telling her that they are going to a wine tasting tour in the Napa Valley. Regardless, he intends on eventually marrying her against the advice and wishes of his friends. And Al seems to be unaware of what are considered the social graces of the Western world. The morning after their arrival in Las Vegas, they stay awakened in their hotel suite with the worst hangover in history. Yeah. And of course, and another problem. Doug has gone missing. Is nowhere to be found. So yeah, whole movie they're literally trying to find Doug so they can get back and have that wedding. So yeah. So when this movie was announced and the teaser trailers came out, people just thought it would be yet another generic buddy raunchy comedy. However, when the movie came out, they were all proven wrong. This movie proved to be actually very fresh and original despite its premise and has a more original humor. Yeah, people loved it. It was loved by people. At the box office, it already surpassed its budget with $44 million on its opening weekend, made $277 million domestically and $460 million worldwide, and broke Beverly Hills Cop's record of the highest-grossing R-rated comedy at the time until Deadpool surpassed that record too. Well, both its sequel and Deadpool both would eventually surpass this. So here we go. But and so I eventually saw the film in 2013. And I gotta say, I also really loved it. I consider it one of my favorite comedies of all time. I'm gonna get to why, so let's get on with it. But like I said, the movie is about some guys who go to a Vegas bachelor party. Of course, it's for Doug, who's about to get married in a few days. And of course, the group ends up losing Doug, and the movie's their journey to find him and get him back home. They try to backtrack everything that went on in that whole chaotic night that they don't remember. Apparently, they caused so much shit to Las Vegas and caused so much damage to almost the whole hotel room. Then find him. There are a few reasons why this movie is so great. Because for one, the cast could have been much better than what it was. Zach Galifianakis probably gives one of his funniest roles in his career as Alan Garner. And it's a really catchy movie. It's very easy to quote without even realizing it, such as Driving Drunk classic, really. They don't really go that route, and because, well, when this film came out, apparently it was really popular. Almost all my school teachers really loved it. They considered one of the funniest films they've watched. It was really that famous among a lot of people I knew in the time it came out. It was well talked about for a comedy film in the 2000s. Hangover's biggest assets are that it's been crafted to the hilt on all distinctive areas. Like the characters, you meet them first, okay, they are not clear characters, but how could these guys ever be friends? But along the movie, you grow into accepting them, their pros and cons. You see why they're friends. They're still got each other's backs, and they're just really entertaining characters to watch. I had to recognize their roles and how they complete a full circle without it being too obvious from the get-go. Huge plus, and we also got another one of the funniest characters, Leslie Chow, played by Ken Jeong. This guy is probably the most hilarious character in the whole series, in the first two, anyways. Even with the limited screen time he has, he's just a big scene stealer. He's easily Ken Jeong's best role and best performance as well. So in the And of course, there's also the dialogue. Well, it's kind of the usual Kevin Smith and Judd Apatow stuff, kind of like with Friends, but with F words and pop culture references, but very good stuff, though. It's not like overly relying on those kind of comedies. It's got a little more fresher dialogue this time around, and it's got a really great premise, too, and it's got a good concept, especially for like a drunk comedy movie, and because the concept of this gang of friends getting so drunk they cause so much mayhem and hell to this almost the whole place they're staying at with their shenanigans because of how drunk they are. Well, because apparently the drinks were drugged with roofies, which I'm going to get to in a bit. And they find so much burnt evidence all in their hotel, and finding that their friend is missing, and trying to bring that friend back is actually kind of a pretty original premise. The whole thing just plays out like a good mystery and gives a 100 minute of laughs without missing one beat, losing pace or losing focus. This is kind of what this is the exact movie that Dude, Where's My Car should have been. What probably really struck me in The Hangover, there are no lulls. I consider this a defining strength for a comedy movie. When one clue has been solved, it moves straight into the next one, and pretty much the okay what now bits have been surgically removed. There's gotta hand it to Todd Phillips. This was kind of back when Todd Phillips actually was a good director. Before Joker came out, this was his best movie. Well, it wasn't until 10 years later when he would go on and direct the masterpiece that was called Joker, which I also actually thought wouldn't really be that good of a movie either. And to the cast, along with casting, both having this many new names in key roles, well, the time they were new names, they're not new names anymore, obviously, but I don't think I really have many complaints about this movie. Well, I mean, I think my only complaints are there's these couple of parts I thought were a little slower to the rest, and can kind of like that scene, specifically like that scene in the desert at the end with where they find Shao in their trunk, and then they're kind of just discussing, and it revealed that Alan kind of drugged their drinks with roofies, which pretty much got them all drunk in the first place, and I think another bad part is probably Mike Tyson's performance. I know, yeah, he's a boxer and not an actor, but could have been someone else famous who knew how to kind of act a little better, and especially kind of sing to In the Air Tonight a little better, but I think his cameo's still pretty funny, at least. Awesome. Oh yeah, and also like around the very end of the movie, you also kind of see what really went on in that night for these pictures that are apparently found on one of their cameras. Apparently, at the end of the movie, they recharge all their cameras because their cameras obviously ran out of battery while they were staying there, and they find all the photos and evidence. They decide to look at it one last time, and then they have to delete all the evidence after they look at it. Yeah, and then the rest of the photos just play during the credits and pretty much see what went down that night in all those pictures, which was pretty hilarious, which was pretty darn hilarious and pretty crazy, too, so I don't know. I don't think there's much really problems with this movie. I think this is probably the best film of the series. I think it's probably the only good movie of the series. Well, Part 2 is just an okay movie. It's disappointing as a disappointing sequel, but Part 3 is just an absolute dumpster fire, but this one's definitely the best, and probably the only really one I consider a masterpiece. So yeah, haven't really seen this movie yet. If you're a comedy fan, I'd check it out. It's probably one of the funniest movies I've ever watched, probably one of my favorite comedies of all time, and here's how I'm probably going to rank it. I am going to give The Hangover an 8 out of 10. Okay, and that pretty much wraps up my review for the first film. Now I gotta review The Hangover Part 2, the next movie, which, by the way, guys, actually came out 10 years ago this summer. So technically it's that sequel's 10th anniversary. Yeah, gotta review the rehash sequel next, that's gonna be fun. Well, because, well, I am gonna review the whole trilogy, so I guess I gotta do that. And 3. But anyway, that'll be it for this review. Thank y'all for watching. And if you like this and want to see more, and don't forget to like and subscribe to Movie Lover 120.